Good morning, second graders. Mrs. Cabral here, your favorite reader. Haha, just kidding. Okay, so I'm here to read our informational story of the week about Australia by Amy Lemons and Katie King. And as always, our informational text has that table of contents that tells us what topic we're going to read about on which page. Where in the world? Australia is the world's largest island, but it is the smallest inhabited continent. It is surrounded by the Indian, Pacific, and Southern Oceans. About 22 million people live in Australia. A lot of the country is covered by land known as the outback. It is also home to the largest coral reef in the world, known as the Great Barrier Reef. Australia's warm climate and beautiful beaches encourage people to enjoy the outdoors and sports such as swimming, sailing, cricket, and soccer. The Outback. Have you ever been to the Outback Steakhouse? It has like an Australian theme to it. That's why they call it that. Much of the country of Australia is covered by land known as the Outback. Most of Australia's population surrounds 6 major cities, so most of the central and western Australia make up the outback. Even though the land looks very dry, it does get rain. It can even experience floods. The summer weather is extremely hot, but in the winter it can drop down to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Some of the animals can typically be found in the outback are snakes, scorpions, woo woo, sycamore, dingoes, and kangaroos. Yummy foods. Meat pie. Australians love their meat pie. This is a flaky pastry filled with meat and gravy. Pavlova. This dessert was named after a ballerina because it's so light and airy. Whipped cream and fresh fruit make a delicious treat. And Vegemite. This spread that was also invented by a chemist is used on toast sandwiches and much more. Vegemite. I bet you it has lots of vegetables or something like that in it. The Great Barrier Reef. The world's largest barrier island is located off the coast of Australia. It is home to 1,500 types of fish and 1,600 miles of coral. Did you know that astronauts can even see the reef from space? Here is something else that might surprise you. Coral is not a plant. It is an animal. The Great Barrier Reef is also home to a wide range of life, including fish, sea turtles, giant clams, seahorses, snakes, stingrays, sharks, and much more. The Opera House. In 1959, construction of Australia's most recognizable building began. 10,000 workers helped to construct this amazing building. It ended up costing over $100 million to build the Opera House. The building has a total of 1,000 rooms, 3 restaurants, and 7 different performance areas. The building is very unique because the structure looks like it has sails from a boat. So maybe in movies or things like that, you've probably seen pictures of this opera house. And I think a long time ago, maybe even before you guys were born, when Australia hosted the Olympics, the opera house was a big, major attraction for people to look at. Popular animals. Kangaroos are marsupials that can be found in Australia or New Guinea. They carry around their babies, joeys is what those are called, in their pouches. They hop quickly on 2 legs or walk slowly on all 4 legs. Wombats, another Australian marsupial, use their sharp claws to dig holes in the grasslands. They live in these burrows to escape danger and come out at night to eat grasses and roots. Koalas are marsupials. When their babies are big enough, they crawl onto their mother's back. Koalas grow to be about 2 to 3 feet big and are often mistaken for bears. They love to eat eucalyptus leaves. Dingoes are famous Australian wild dogs that usually live in small packs. They have 5 or 6 pups at one time. You may hear their loud howl if you ever visit Australia. Famous landmark. The 12 Apostles is a famous landmark off the coast of the Victoria, Australia. The pillars are limestone stacks that were formed by erosion. Waves crash against the rock slowly, causing the rock to wear away. What's interesting about the name is that there were only 9 pillars altogether. In 2005, one of the pillars that was 160 feet tall came crashing down into the ocean. So maybe you remember way back at the beginning of the year when we talked about erosion and we did that experiment with the tearing of the paper and how the rocks break down and become the sand at the beach. Same kind of thing happens when that water constantly goes up and down, up and down. It wears away at the rock formations on the shore. So that's what erosion is that water slowly wearing down the earth. So I guess in 2005, when that pillar finally came crashing down, it couldn't support itself anymore. It had eroded so much that it had to fall down. And here we are, like in all of our informational texts, we have our glossary. Coral, tiny soft-bodied animal related to the jellyfish. Erosion, the gradual destruction of something. Inhabited, something that is lived in. Marsupials, mammals that are typically carried in pouches as babies. And outback, the uninhabited regions of Australia. Hope you enjoyed learning some more about Australia. Have a great day, boys and girls.